before we going into kind of the beginning of the business,
Yes.
because this is what I think it's absolutely amazing, where you came from, your past experience coming to this business, right? So I want you to talk about that, because you basically, you came from the IT world, right?
So I came from the IT world / the corporate world.
Yeah.
Before even opening myself up to the restoration world, I was a CTO. I was a corporate executive in a legal software firm. And then I went on my own and working on a software for the restoration business. And this is what exposed me to the restoration business. That wasn't long ago. And then I said, hey, I like the numbers I see on that software.
I love it. So tell me, the reason I saw the numbers, I love it. So the reason today it's so cool to be in the IT tech space, right? This is where everybody wants to be, and you moved from that space, right, from the cool space that everybody want to be in.
Yeah.
You moved to now the
trade.
Restoration industry, right? The trade, working, driving a van, carrying equipment.
Absolutely.
Right? So how was that? Like, what type of skills did you acquire being in the tech space that help you in the restoration industry?
So there are two questions here. I'll answer the first one first, and then because the other one is something that I need to process a little bit, so I'll process it while we're. So for me, it was actually a blessing in the sky, because originally I come from, like, as a younger person, I was in the military and a lot of outdoors activities and everything else. And then when I went into the corporate world, into the IT world and the cool stuff, I felt buried in the cubicle.
Oh, okay.
And this is why I brought myself very quickly to the executive world, because then you were less in the cubicle and more in the interaction.
Okay.
And more in the vision and more in the decision making and more in the human aspect of the software. And then actually going into the trade and going into the van and facing the customers and communicating with adjusters and stuff like that is something that I love. Even now, when I'm the business owner and I have an office space here and I have an office space in Santa Barbara, I rarely am sitting in the office. I prefer to be on the field, and I prefer to have people around me that are better than me in being in the office, because this is what I enjoy. So I had one employee ask me about a month ago, what would you have done if you won the lottery? Would you stop working? And I told him, I don't work. I would continue doing the same thing. I really love it. I really enjoy it. That's what I would have done if I won the lottery.
Okay, okay.
Now the other question is, what did I take from there to this?
Yes.
So I think this is my actually competitive edge if I compare myself to the other restoration companies around us, is that I understand the nature of both worlds. So if I face a customer that is in the office world, in the computer world, in the details and the technicalities of that email or this estimate, that estimate, I know where he's coming from. I know to relate to that. And I know the stress that he is feeling with everything that is going on in his house and the mess. And I have the ability to translate that to him in a way that will make him feel more comfortable with what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link to our software that shows you all the numbers on the work and with the updates and all the media, the videos and the pictures that we take. And the estimate is built this way, and this is how we are pricing. And when I communicate to a tech executive that way, he's like, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So what you brought up is a great point, because the way, when I'm hearing you, is you feel very comfortable and you understand technology. You're feeling very comfortable and you're excited to work with people, right? And you are in the restoration industry. So bringing the approach of I love technology and I enjoy technology, right? I enjoy working with people, and I can communicate with people with different type of experience, right?
Right.
So this is a great thing, because one of the things that we see in our trade is a lot of people are afraid from technology.
Right.
They don't want to adopt new tools. Right. One of the frustrations that we see very often is management company and insurance agents and on are frustrated because they cannot even get a file. The emails comes, everything is messed up. They're not getting updates on the system that they use. Right. So you bringing these two worlds together, really working well for you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So this is what and I think this is huge. Now, for the past 20 years, you always worked for companies.
Yeah.
Right? 20 years? 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And now you own a business. How is it?
So how is
to be a business owner?
It's a world difference, okay? It's something entirely different. Like, you can't even compare. It's like asking somebody that doesn't have kids how it is to have kids. And it's like when I talk to my employees right now a lot, I still remember how it is to be an employee, right? And then when I get their feedbacks and how they see things, it's not that I don't take it seriously, but I smile to myself, understanding the difference and how much, because so there is this attractive stuff that it's all under my control, it's all my say. Nobody can make me do something that I don't want to do, right? But if what I want to do is not the right thing, it could be the end of the world.
Yeah, to some degree.
So, and a lot of new things to worry about that you didn't even know that exist. And and you never really stop working, because again, on the contrary to what I say that I don't work, it's because I love it. I love it. I'm not complaining. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But you never really stop working.
It's on your mind all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
With the numbers, the data, the conversation you had with the customer, your conversation you had with your CFO, the conversation you had with the marketing, the conversation that you had with the technician yesterday, the moisture readings, the adjuster, it never leaves you.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you sit and say, was it worth it? Was it, like I see my kids, and I'm very much a family person, and my kids are everything for me. My wife is amazing. That's my why, that's my purpose, this is what I'm for. And sometimes, you get a call when you're swimming in the pool with the kids, and I'm like, and you have to take it. There is no, I'll take it later, because again, it could be a decision that will affect you tremendously.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, does it worth it?
Especially in our business.
Right?
Yes.
And then the answer is, I'm going to leave a business behind me. So one of my goals is, and everything that I structure the business as, is something that will not be a one-man show, not be dependent on me, something like that. So I will leave a business behind me. So when I look at these kids, this is something that I couldn't say 5 years ago, that when I'm gone, they'll have more than my life insurance.
So we understand how you feel about owning a business and your ability to leave something with a lot more value.
Right.
God forbid something happened to you, the business can still take care of the family.
Yeah.
And you're working now for yourself, basically. You're developing your own legacy,
Right.
your own system. You have an ability to work with your team, right? And also create
To
an
build a
opportunity
team.
for them, right?
Yeah.
So build a team, creating an opportunity for your team, because as you grow, everybody around you will grow.
Exactly.
Right? So that's clear. But I want you to talk more about okay, I want to join the franchise,
Right.
right? I'm thinking it's the right thing to do. Now the fear of, okay, how are we going to afford it? How much are we going to be able to survive? Right? So I want you to go a little, I mean, I know it's been 2 years now almost.
So for me,
but
it
I want
was
you to go a little bit more into that, because the reason I want you to talk about it, because a lot of people are, starting new businesses, right? Or taking that chance.
Right.
Or people that work as an executive for bigger companies, and at one point they're saying, you know what, I've been working for this company for 20 years or 30 years or whatever it is, right? People are 45, 50, 55 even.
yeah.
And there is this fear of, first of all, how I'm going to go from, corporate America, like huge companies,
Right.
and now manage a business with 2 or 3 other people.
Right.
I used to manage, a team with 20 people. How I'm going to go from here to here.
Right.
But I want to have my independence at the same time.
Right.
But also understanding and managing the risk and really doing whatever they need to do to build a business.
Right.
So you experienced it not too long ago,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
And I remember some of the conversations that we had in this period of time.
So it's very important to understand, I don't know everything yet. It's a continuous learning. And
course.
Every day you run into new problems that you need to figure out how to resolve that are not small problems at all.
Yeah.
They're huge problems.
Yes.
Cash flow problems, billing problems, HR problems, legal problems. A lot of things that you were not exposed to in the corporate world because there was the legal department that is dealing with it, or there's the finance department with 20 people. Every small nuance of that legal thing or any small nuance of that financial thing, there is somebody taking care of. And now it's all on you, and it's the first time you're doing it. And for me, I don't have any partner. It's all on my own, so there is nobody to come and say, maybe we should do this. It's all in your mind, and it's all. Every decision that I make is a crucial and critical decision, and you don't know if it's the right one, right? So that's exciting. but I can tell you that I made a lot of mistakes. I actually rushed into it, thinking, oh, if I were a CTO of a global company with 5,000 employees, and I was handling with the product and with the sales and with the biz dev and the software in different offices, different locations. What is that for me, that small business with 3 people? That's nothing. And so I went very fast into this, not really knowing that how different it is. But thankfully, I made those mistakes and I survived them to have helped me to know better. And actually, right now, I'm escorting or mentoring or talking with a lot of new business owners coming into 911 restoration. And from my experience, from my mistakes, I can share with them how I corrected those mistakes and what difference it made, and to suggest to them to actually start in my correction and not in my mistake.
Yeah.
My mindset, which is there's no way back.
Okay.
Right? Just fail until you make it.
Okay.
Because never stop on a failure. Never stop on a no. Just keep moving and keep fighting. Eventually, you will succeed. You will catch. You will have an opportunity. And I actually got a lot of support from you and from other people in the franchise. I don't know if I can name names, but in the points where I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I actually called. I was in a job that I've never done before, and there were no techs. It was just me.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to turn on the water extractor. I had to call. I called somebody in North Carolina. Hey Ryan, how do you turn this thing on?
There was just a post on LinkedIn related to that, no?
Yes. And then it's not extracting because there's soap in the water and it foams in the thing. And he's like, you need a defoamer. And I'm like, what is a defoamer? I'm on the job. What defoamer are you talking about? I don't have this in the van. And so you do have, so being part of a franchise, it's easier because you do have somebody to call and somebody to ask and to learn from other people that have been through this. So as, you know, yeah, I'm a business owner and stuff like that, but I think business owners that don't have the franchise support, who would they call when they don't know what a defoamer is?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's, yeah, absolutely. One of the things that keeps coming up when, and I speak in general, when people go into business, right? And I think you just brought it up, it's the mindset, right? So somebody open a business, says, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And I'm like, no. Don't go into business if you just want to give it a try. Right? You go in.
Yeah.
There is no if or I'm going to try for 45 days. If it's not going to work, I'm going to give up or do it halfway. Right?
Yeah.
So based on your experience as well, it's like I'm fully in.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to find a way to make it work. I'm going to call the right people. I will collaborate. You know, there's the franchisees, there's the support. But the mindset of I'm in, there's no any other thing that I want to do or looking to do. I'm just going to make it work. That's a huge part of your ability to go through it.
I think it's very much about a personality. If somebody is like debating, should I go into this or not? Like somebody was debating. And what I told them is, be honest with yourself, okay? Let's say you're going into a race and you're going into a race to win and you lose big time. You get last place in the race. Are you going to try again, or are you going to hate that race? And be honest with yourself, what are you going to do? Put yourself there. If you're going to try again, this is for you. If you're going to hate that race and go to a different kind of sports, don't do it.
Yeah. Because we have the same conversation with people and the same thing is coming up. Yeah, I'll give it a try. And I'm hearing younger people even going into business, not necessarily ours, and they're, maybe it's going to work. Right? So it's a huge part. So we talked about your experience, right? Your past skills and how you brought them into this business. You going from working for companies to being now independent and building your business. Your mindset that is very, very important. Plus having a system that supports you, right? Because I think the big thing, we need to make sure that, of course, we're aligned, and this part, a big part of the be the fresh starts and our mantra and what we believe in, right? And the second part here is we need to have a partner that is in it the same way that we are in it.
Yes.
Right? And that's what makes it.
Yeah. And you need to understand, it's gonna be painful many times. You're gonna have pains and you're gonna have fun times, enjoyment times. You'll have Christmas parties. That is your Christmas party. That is your company that you put that Christmas party together. And you're going to sleep knowing that there are 14 families that it is your investment that is supporting them to pay the rent and to feed their kids. And then wow, this is I did this, right? You need to, I did this. It's me, right? But then again, there is that pain. All of a sudden, payroll. How am I going to pay these 14 salaries right now? Because the insurance didn't pay us yet. They're going to pay us in 3 months.
Yeah.
Where's the money going to come from? Oh my God, what am I going to do? So a lot of this is going on, but this is, you need to learn to embrace it, and you need to learn to deal with it.
And you touched it, and I think this is where it's beautiful the way it comes across, and you can hear where we're so aligned, right? In a way that we're excited when we can create opportunities for other people, right? And see them grow and see their families and the impact. So this is where the alignment is, like the first star, the mantra, and all that. But you touched it before your why, right? So a lot of people think, okay, it's been so hard. I mean, enough. I'm giving up. Right? But if your why, if the reason that you do it, if you keep it in front of you, you can go through the hard time.
Right.
You can be humble enough to ask questions. Right? That's
what happens if I stop? What happens if I stop? What happens if I give up? Right? And when I look at my kids, when I look at my house, my mortgage, my kids primarily, of course, I know what happens if I stop.
We just talked about how you have in your mind the pain and the reward, and then while you have both of them in your mind and it's so clear, then everything in the middle can be painful, but this is part of what you need to do, right? To reach the rewards and avoid the pain.
And the rewards will come if you work hard, if you put yourself out there, if you are honest and true and good, rewards will eventually come.
Okay.
It's not always rewarding, but when it is, it's very rewarding.
If you do the right thing, the right things will happen.
Eventually.
Right? And the right things are pretty simple.
Yes.
It's not easy to do. It's hard to do, but it's simple in a way of thinking about them.
Totally.
Some people are overcomplicating what business is all about and what they need to do and how hard it is to build a business, but they're complicating it because I think if it was too simple in their mind, they don't have excuses of why they're not making it happen.
Exactly.
Right? So this is why they're making everything so complicated. But at the end of the day, it's like we have a client, we need to solve problem, we need to add value, and we need to make sure this client is super happy with everything that we did for him. Even when you're running the business and everything is going on, it's stressful and payroll and what we're going to do, the employees are like, okay, let's do the right thing.
Just do the right thing.
This is what we need to do today. This is what we need to do right now. And we're going to do the right thing, not shortcuts or not take advantage of anybody. And as long as we do the right things, it's going to work out.
Yeah, just say, okay, at the end of the day, it's A, B, C.
I love it. So can you give us an example of what it means to do the right thing in the restoration industry specifically?
So there are a few different examples I can give you. There is actually from the restoration work, and there is from owning a business. From the restoration work, you could come into a place, and that happened to me before. It's a multi-residential, and the plumber played with the pressure regulator of the building, and water are coming out of everywhere. All the units, you see water coming out, okay? It's like there is like an interior balcony of water are coming out. They called us, you got a water damage. I showed up with one water extractor and a couple of fans, and water coming down from 15 units out, okay? 7 a.m., all the owners, it's an HOA, it's a condo, all the owners are freaking out. Everybody wants to be the first, and you're the first one on the job. And this is all happening, and they're all stressed out.
Yeah.
And it's just me. So, okay, 1, let's have the service agreement signed. 2, let's call more people. 3, close the main. And 4, start extracting water, taking pictures, take moisture readings, set the equipment, right? And see if when people come in and start doing that for you, you can communicate with everybody, calm them down, explain to them what's going on, what they need to expect, how they can reach you when they have questions, and how we're going to move forward. And so this is one example from the actual facing the restoration world, right? Okay. Everything is hectic, and I translate, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're there.
You got it.
The other hectic thing is you have this business, you have all this beautiful equipment, all these vans, all these people on the payroll, and the phone is not ringing. It's for them it's quiet. You are freaking out like crazy. The
Yeah.
phone is not ringing. For you, it's like, oh my God, there's so much going on in your mind right now because the phone is not ringing. So you need to sit down and say, okay, what do I need to do right now? I need to reach out. I need to call people. I need to push more money in the digital marketing. I need to look at the data and see what's converting, what did not convert last week, where we are at. I need to go look for jobs. Talk to people, other people, maybe other companies are very, very busy right now and they have, something they cannot deal with. They want to sub it to us. So there is, again, you need to break those stressful moments where the phone is not ringing into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right. I want to hear your way of looking at it, or your way of thinking about it, the personal growth and the business growth. And where do they come together? Like who influences what and how? And in your mind, when you build a business, where is the personal growth compared to the business growth?
So they go hand in hand very tightly. You don't stay the same when you become a business owner. And the more you evolve as a person, you will see that reflect on your business. Your business will evolve as a business. The more you grow, the more you allow yourself to be centered, to be in place, to show up, to put yourself out there, to deal with life, to deal with reality, and to process it. That will reflect on your business tremendously. I can tell you, so I was that way from the very beginning, but I've grown a lot with a lot of learning and a lot of knowledge, like the new things that I had to deal with, the new legal stuff or the new financial stuff. So maybe that's not an emotional thing, but it is a lot of knowledge that I've gained. And that also affected the numbers and also affected the profitability and also affected the cash flow and affected the growth. And we just started doing that with the guys. So I figured the more I help the guys grow personally, the more it will affect the company, their department, the teams they're working with.
Right.
We'll grow with them. So we're doing that.
Yeah, good. So when I say personal growth, it doesn't necessarily, because you brought it up and I think it's important that we have it, it's not necessarily of, working on the emotional side all the time, right? There's also a huge part of, as the business grow, right? When we start the business, it's you in the van, you do everything.
Right.
You have a certain skills that you develop. And then when the business grow, there's different skills that you need to acquire.
Right.
So it's this letting go of one part of the business, right?
Exactly.
One areas in the business, and now acquiring new skills that you can grow the business.
Right.
Right. So it doesn't have to be a personal growth of I need to work on charcoals now.
That is very true. Yeah,
Right?
you need to understand, if you want to own a business that it keeps growing, you have to be scalable. You cannot do everything yourself.
Yeah.
You need to understand that you need people that will be you in the place where you're not. And then you need to identify where you can be, what will be the best position for you in the business.
Okay. And how do you identify that? Based on what? How do you choose? How do you know, like, okay, I'm going to grow my business to, let's say, from 5 trucks to 30 trucks. I need to oversee operation. I need to do more sales. I need to be more on the marketing side, because I think it's clear that we cannot do everything.
Right.
Right? So how would you go about, in your own mind, where is it that you're going to be in the business?
So when you're growing, you kind of start seeing and understand, because when you're small, you do everything.
Yeah.
You you do the drawing, you do the patching, you do the marketing, you do the customer service, and you do the documentation and the billing and everything else.
Yeah.
And you know what you are more comfortable and what you're better at.
Okay.
And so when you grow, I would say stick to what you're good at and let other people, like if I were the best drywall guy, I would hire somebody else to manage the operations.
Yeah.
Even though I'm the business owner, but maybe in the operations I'm not very strong. So I will benefit a lot from somebody else that will do the operations better than me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily say, okay, here we're all buttoned down and yeah, we're business owners, fancy. It doesn't have to be that way. Some other days I'm in t-shirt and I'm on the field crawling in crawl space because I'm better at that.
Okay. So you identify your strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
Right? So you say, okay, my strength is whatever it is, right? I think you have the charisma and you're good with clients and to meet people and you have that, right? So that is one of your, I call it like an innate,
Yes.
right? It just comes to you, right? So when you start developing your skills, developing the business, when you think about, okay, I have today 5 trucks, I want to get to 30 trucks.
So my success came when I hired somebody else to handle the financials.
Okay.
My success, my growth, like the big jump actually was when I hired somebody else to handle the financials, which is actually giving my pocket to somebody else.
Yeah.
That does it better than me. This is where I started, you know, seeing the good, you know, so as a business owner, like a lot of, you're working very hard, you're very successful, but you don't know where the money is. So when I hired somebody that knows where the money is, that made a huge difference, and that taught me to, you need to stick to what you're good at.
Okay.
And and hire the people that are good in what you're bad. And learn from them, of course. Not let them decide for you all the time, because
so still have control over everything that's going on,
yeah,
but also understand strengths and weaknesses, but then give responsibility to the right people.
Give responsibility, give room,
Yeah.
listen, and learn. But don't fire and forget.
So what would you say to a new business owner that just started a business or being in the business for a year, right? And his mindset is, no, it's money. I need to know exactly. Nobody else is going to know, right? Accounting. No, I'm the one who have to see every customer because we have to make sure that every job is done right. No, I'm going to be the one who set up the van because I need to make sure that the van is set up right.
Yeah.
And now we need to take that business owner, not to take, but we need to help this business owner understand you're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
Right? And we want to help you get unstuck. So how would you explain him that you need to let go of something? Like
very simple. When you're setting up the van, because you are the best one to set up the van, who is doing the financials? Because you're the best one doing the financials. So you want to do the financials? Who's setting up the van? You have to have people around you in order to grow.
Yeah.
If you're the best in everything, that's amazing. So teach those people. Tell them how you want the van to look like and train them to do it that way. And if you're the best in doing the financial, that's amazing. Get somebody and teach them how you want the financials to be managed and show them how you're doing things.
Right.
So those things will be done that way. But also take into consideration that maybe you're not the best. So while you're teaching them, give them room to ask you questions and to doubt what you're doing. Right. Maybe you don't have to accept it, but maybe you'll learn from it.
Right. And if he's not going to do it, he's not going to be able to grow from 5 to 20 or 30 trucks.
Because you can't handle 20 trucks and also pay for them.
Right? and organize them and do the financial and do the marketing and go see every client. It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Right? So one of the things that my goal is to some degree to help people understand, like if you're not going to make that change, if you're not going to start letting go, building a team, acquiring new skills, build on your strength, you're not going to get to 30 trucks, for example. It's just not going to happen.
How?
Right?
Who's going to drive it?
Right, so it's not going to happen. And the other side of it is if you want to really scale the business and have time with your family and be able to go on vacation, right, and all the things that we talked about earlier in the conversation, you have to have people around you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to exhaust yourself and you're going to be stuck in the truck for the next 20, 30 years.
Right.
Right, and this is, unfortunately, we see too many people still stuck in a truck.
Yeah, but then there is a continuation to that. You have to have people around you, and you have to make sure you train them and help them grow.
Yeah.
And this is something that we discussed last week.
Yeah.
Give them a hand.
Yeah.
Walk them there, so when you're on vacation, it's not falling apart.
Right. Let's talk about the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Right? Where you want to see the business, where you want to see yourself in the business. Kind of talk about what do you have in your mind when you're saying 2-3 years from today, I want to be here.
So let's talk about the business. It's easier for me because so there are statistics in place with small businesses and their average life expectancy of a business if it's a small business and based on their cycles. So my goal is to get out of that cycle of small business as soon as possible.
Okay.
So in 2-3 years, I want to be in the upper side of the small business scale in terms of the revenues and in terms of the size of the team and the service areas that we are in. And this is the goal of the business, which is very much my goal. If I want to be in a very confident and secure place, that I know what's happening tomorrow, and I know what's happening in 3 weeks, and I know what's happening in 3 months, with me personally, with my life, and with the business.
Yeah.
This is a very healthy place that I want to grow into. Right now, yes, I know what's going to happen tomorrow because I have this collection. I mean, we live in the insurance world. They take time to pay.
Yeah.
So I know money's coming because I had jobs in the past. But I want to be able to plan, to project, to analyze, and to know, and to trust the data that I know of what's going to happen next. And to have that benchmark of things are flowing easier, and there is a rhythm, and there is a momentum, and it's like a snowball.
So you want to get to the point that the business is more predicted in a way, right? So you have enough clients coming in.
Yeah.
So you have more national accounts coming in.
Yeah.
Right? So you know now you build a big enough customer base and big enough brand awareness.
Right.
So you're not hoping every day
That
work
somebody
is
will
coming
call.
in all the time.
Right.
Right. So you want to get to this stage. Now, when I'm asking about you, which role in the business do you want, right? So because we talked about strengths and weaknesses, right? And how you develop yourself, your skills,
Right.
based on your strength over time in the business, because this is where you're really going to see exponential growth. So what is it that you are discovering that you're saying, okay, when I do this in the business, this I know where I can add the most amount of value?
Yeah. I found that I'm the best at training, teaching, and bringing up people to do their job.
Okay.
And this is actually what I find myself doing even when I don't need to do it. Like even with the customer, when I'm inspecting and the customer is standing next to me, I started explaining to him what I'm doing technically so he will know. And I started explaining to him how the machine is working and what's the dry log and where we need to be. And when one of my employees is calling with a new situation that he did not face before, I enjoy that, explaining him into the details what he needs to do now and where we're at in the
Okay.
And we have this wall that we've torn down and built back several times to explain to them what's the best way to texture. So me personally, I'm going to be there in the mentoring, training of the people around me.
I love that you have your 10 years vision, right? And it's based on our conversation off the camera also. You have a very aggressive goals, right? There's where you want to get is, I think, will be phenomenal for you to get where you want to get. And I believe you can do it. So let's talk about your client, your customers, it's your customers in your area. What separates you from any other restoration company when it comes to homeowners, for example?
Okay. So for homeowners, first of all, the very first thing that sets, I think, us apart from any other restoration service provider is that we identify our customers very fast, and we know to provide the right, so we don't provide the same solution for every type of customer. If it's a homeowner, if it's a property management company, if it's a commercial business, and based on the type of business, we know what we know to answer your needs in the best way for you. So if it's a homeowner, God forbid, right, suffers from an unwelcome disaster in their house, be it water, fire, mold, whatever, he would know that when he calls us, he will get an immediate response. He will get an overall response. We will take care of everything for him. We will hug him and put him in a place where it is comfortable for him. And we will show him how, from that uncomfortable position that he was just now in, the sewage backup or the toilet overflow, and everything is wet, and the photo albums, and my wife's diploma, whatever it is that you're suffering right now is stressing you out, we will resolve it for you, and we will put you in a new, fresh start, and a little bit higher and better than what you started with. We will make sure that if we're talking about growth, so you will grow from this with us together.
Okay.
So that's what sets us apart with the homeowner. If we're talking about a property management company, I think that that would give us a call. I think that they will see very, very fast that when they're dealing with the tenants or when they're dealing with the homeowners, when we are involved, they look better. The satisfactory of the tenant and the satisfactory of the customer is very important to me, and is very important to my project managers on the field.
Yeah.
And when the customer is happy, less phone calls to the property manager, rent is being paid faster, and things are getting resolved faster, and you have us in your book of business, would eventually get you more properties, simply because you're doing the work right, because we are your soldiers there.
Yeah.
And the same way as the guys, I always tell my guys, when you're there, you are 911 restoration. You are Ophir. So whatever you say, whatever you do in front of the customer, that's us. That's what they have. That's what they see. That's everything. So also for the property management, when you call us and we are there, we are you. And if we do the right job, and we will do the right job, you will look good. That will be your growth as well.
Right. No, I think because it really is coming down to our understanding who is the person in front of you and what
Right.
is his goals, and being a huge part of helping him reach his goals.
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about it. Yeah, that's
Why did
That's-
he call you right now?
Yeah.
What's the problem?
what he wants, what
And
he
how
needs.
can we make it better for him?
Right. So that mindset alone, and I think that's, and it goes back to where we started the conversation, where a lot of people are complicating the idea of business,
Yeah.
right? When you're clear and you know that my goal is to help him reach his goals,
Yeah.
then everything becomes so simple.
Yeah.
But when I walk and I meet somebody and the only thing that I'm thinking of is how much I'm going to make, how it's going to work for me,
Yeah.
right? Now you're basically, you're not even aware that there's a client in front of you that's trying to reach his goals. You're so busy with your own.
Yeah. And it's not that your goals are not justified, but if you just focus on I need to win this deal and not focus on the deal,
Yeah, because
you will not win the deal.
Yeah.
So you will miss on your own personal goals.
exactly. And you're going to be able to reach your goals only when you're really helping your clients reach their
Exactly.
goals. So it's still going back to you. So
Right.
it's not I'm doing everything for other people. I mean, we are in business,
Yeah.
and you have people and you need to make money, and there's all the rewards that come with the business.
Yeah.
But the rewards are results of helping somebody gets his rewards.
Yeah, and
Right.
and they're actually higher.
Yeah.
You'll
Right.
be rewarded much better when you focus on his reward.
Yeah, and this is such a big thing. What we're really trying to bring up is finding fulfillment as a human being, as a business owner, and being financially successful at the same time.
Right.
Right? Not put one or the other. They don't need to be separated in any way. Right? Especially in our industry, when we get calls from people that are going through a disaster right now.
Yeah.
And there's one way to approach it is, I want to get there, and how much I'm going to get paid from the insurance. I'm going to set up the equipment, and I'm going to leave as fast as I can because I'm paying my employees and the cost and everything, and not really thinking about the customer experience, right? Being super focused of how much I'm going to get paid
Right.
and get out as fast as I can. So this is one approach of the business when I see everything just as a financial benefit, right? This is how much money I want to make. And I'm thinking it's a very short-term way of thinking also, right? Because I'm just thinking about today. I'm thinking about this week. I'm not thinking how I'm going to build a healthy business over the next 3, 5, 10 years.
At the end of the day, what are you about? Are you about the profit? And there's nothing wrong with being about the profit.
Yeah,
Are you about making people happy and giving them a fresh start? And there is nothing wrong with that. Or are you about both? If you can be about both and understand that when the people get a fresh start, when the people are happy with you, even if you do have a little bit more cost, at the end of the day, you'll have a lot more profit if this is what you're about.
right. Right,
That's
right. And the key is to mix both of them.
right.